नमः श्री यतिराजाय विवेकानंदसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितैयदायुः। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ। Today also I will be talking about the Upanishads in general and Mundaka Upanishad in particular. The last class I narrated so many Western scholars in the last two classes who contributed to the taking the knowledge of Upanishads to the West, which made the task of Swami Vivekananda a little easier, in the sense that some of the great scholars, the people who are in the universities, were already knowing about the Upanishads. And many other concepts also I narrated. I will continue to do so, and also I will go into this second section of the first chapter of the Mundaka Upanishads. What is the goal of the human being, whether he is a spiritual seeker or even if he is an ordinary person? Every human being is seeking the liberation. That is what it is, and that is what our scripture also says. Even a person who is going outwardly, who is seeking the pleasure in the objects, is also seeking the Ananda. This Ananda is only in the Brahman. When the word is superimposed on the Brahman in the form of illusion, this illusory objects also seems to be giving us this Ananda, that is bliss. But actually what happens there is, this Ananda will be given temporarily in the form of happiness. So there is a difference between the Santosha and Ananda, that we have to keep it in our mind. So when we are seeking the Santosha, you will not be happy. As long as it is available, you will be happier. Once it vanishes, you become unhappy. It's a common experience in the life. But because this Brahman exists always, because this Brahman itself is the characteristic of us, it is our own being, that is called the Swarupa, it will not vanish. And what are the lakshanas of this Brahman? Sat Chit Ananda. Sat means the consciousness. Consciousness means Sarvajna Sarvavit. He knows everything and he is all pervading. Then he is the knowledge itself. The Sat is the existence. Chit is the consciousness, which is Jnana. And the characteristic of obtaining all these two things is Ananda. This is what we are seeking. So in the path of this moksha, our Shastra tells there are 4 parts of it. What are they? Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. All these 4 things are allowed in our Shastras for a human being within the framework of morality. one should not steal, one should not kill, ahimsa paramo dharma, etc., etc., wherein within this boundary of the dharma, you are allowed to enjoy. That is why we can build the houses, we can marry, we can progenate, do all that thing, but we should not transgress the dharma. But even if you are following the dharma and doing all these household activities, the misery cannot be eliminated. That is why the person starts seeking the moksha, liberation. Between the dharma and moksha, to fulfill our desires, we need money. That is called artha. Money means not just, artha means it is not just money, it includes everything which is the means of fulfilling our desires, that is kama. And this kama is something which will not go so easily. As long as we live in this body, it remains in one form or the other. Only thing is we have to slowly come out from the grip of the kama. Slowly we have to come out. To that, this knowledge of Upanishads helps. It not only helps, it quickens it. In fact, the path of jnana, without which you cannot accomplish anything in the bhakti yoga, raja yoga, as well as karma yoga. That is why Shri Krishna, even when he asked Arjuna to perform the duty as a warrior, he told about the same Atma Jnana that is told in the Upanishads. These things has to be kept in the mind. That is why the Yayati tells to his son, Najatuh kamah kamanam upabhoge na shamyati havisha krishna vartmena bhuya evapi vardhate. This kama, that means the desires, cannot be eradicated totally by again and again going to the objects of the desires, going to the object of fulfillment of our kama. He gives an example, just like pouring the ghee to the fire increases the fire itself. We cannot extinguish this fire by pouring the fuel. We have to take out the fuel, then only it can be extinguished. Then what is this fuel? Samsara itself is the fuel for the kama. We have to take out that. We have to renounce that. So all the Upanishads, the basic tenets of the Upanishad is to tell about the vairagya, the renunciation. In one form of or the other, it asks us to give up the samsara for the sake of moksha. Because the desire for moksha, the hankering for moksha will not leave the human being. Once we transform ourselves from the animal to birth to the human birth, it will not allow us to enjoy this world. No more. The animality, that grossness will go. The human being is something like a bridge between these animals and the God. He has to transform himself from this gross animal level to the divine level. So it will not allow. That is why in the Viveka Chudamani, Shankara tells, Durlabham Trayam Vai Etat Daivanugraha Hetukam Manushyatvam Mumukshatvam Mahapurusha Samshrayah. That intense dissatisfaction, whatever dissatisfaction that you are noticing in your heart, in your mind, you should know that this dissatisfaction is due to the no effort you are putting to understand your own real nature. So once you start studying the Upanishads and try to become a serious student of the Upanishads, naturally and slowly you will start feeling the presence of Atman inside. Sri Ramakrishna gives an example of the coconut. If the coconut is not dry, is moist. If it is moist, that moistness is nothing but the desires. It will be sticking into this to this shell. It is, once this moistness, that is the desires, the hankering for the enjoyment goes, that gets dried up. Once it is dried up, that shell becomes dry and it starts moving inside the shell. You can, if you shake it, you will feel the sound of it. So that is what Sri Ramakrishna says. That has to be dried up. All the desires, when it dries up, naturally we will get into all these things. So this is the Upanishads grants that result. What it will give the result is that whoever is mortal becomes an immortal. Amrutattvam hi vindate. Amrutattva it will guarantee. What is mortality? We have to come again. We have to be born again. We have to undergo all the pains of birth as well as death. In between also, lot of pains. But if you become immortal, if you are not born again, all this will vanish. That the Upanishad will guarantee. So it will guarantee that you will be merged in the Paramananda Sagara. And who does not want this kind of the state? Eternally you will be merged in the Ananda Sagara. But for that we have to put some effort. That's what, as in our Kannada we say, kai kesaradare bai mosaru. So some efforts are required in any field, whether it is the normal, ordinary profession or academics. Everywhere we have to put the efforts, but here the efforts should be very intense, serious, steady, and it takes a long period. You should be prepared for all that. So these are some of the basic things that we will deal with it. Also, some of the concepts has to be told before we enter into the Upanishads proper. In the last class also I had told you people that there will be number of Prakarana Granthas. Prakarana Grantha means those primers which will help us to understand the concepts of Advaita. As I had told you in the last class also, all these Upanishads are the Vedanta, the ending part of the Vedas, 4 Vedas. Mundaka Upanishad belongs to the Atharva Veda. In the Atharva Veda, last portions, you will get the Mundaka Upanishads. Munda means the shaven head, and it is related to the people who have shaven their head, means sannyasins. These are all the things which I had told you before. And this Upanishads, although it is small, it goes step by step. That means to say, it will first tell about what are the 2 types of Vidya. Dve Vidye Vedita Vyeti Asma Parachaiva Paracha Shavanako Havai Mahashalha Vidvat Upasanna Papracha Kasminnu Bhagavo Vijnate Sarvamidam Vijnatam Bhavatiti. All this chanting also we had done in the last class. Because you might not have attended, so I am repeating it. Otherwise, you have to go through the original texts which are available in our bookstalls. Mundaka Upanishad, available both in Kannada and as well as in English. You can buy that, it will be useful for you. Anyway, so some of the concept from the primers I will explain. There are many primers. One of the primary important is Vedanta Sara, that is also available. You can buy them. The Vedanta Sara Kannada translation is done by Swami Harshanandaji. That is also a very good book. He has referred to many other commentaries on that. And also in the English also it's available. Those things are very much required, and Shankaracharya himself has written so many Prakarana Granthas. Viveka Chudamani is also a Prakarana Grantha, Tattva Bodha, Atma Bodha, so many books are there. Upadesha Sahasri is also one of the important Prakarana Granthas. It's very big. Sahasri means 1000 shlokas are there. But all these primers which are in the name of Shankaracharya are not attributed to real Adi Shankara. There are some arguments over all that. But anyway, that is not those things doesn't matter for us. What matters to us is the knowledge. Knowledge is more important than all these things, historical. Many aspects are there, many discussions are there, especially by the Western scholars, that this Karma Kanda was earlier and Jnana Kanda was later. That means the Upanishads were added. If you look at the Vedas itself, the language of the Vedas, the early suktas of the Rig Veda and all, we cannot understand with the Panini grammar. There is a separate Vedic grammar for that. That means they were archaic, they were older. Compared to this Upanishads, if you read the Upanishads, if you know the basic Sanskrit, you will understand directly the meaning of it, not the concepts. The meaning of it you can directly understand, because this is the Kriya Pada, this is the Nama Pada, etc., etc. You can come to know that this much is there. So the people say, the historians and the philosophers, they say that they are all appended later. And there is an evolution in the knowledge. First, in the Karma Kanda, as I will explain later in the second chapter, that only starts about the Karma Kanda. What is Karma Kanda? I will explain that. In those places, the people, one thing the Vedic people found out is, for every effect there is a cause. If the rain is coming, there must be something which is making this rain to happen. So they attributed these things to somebody who are more powerful than us, because we cannot make the rains, no? We cannot make the cloud. So they thought that someone else is operating all these things. So they assigned each and everything to one god or the other. They wanted to propitiate them. They wanted to make them happy. Then the concept of yajna came. After that, they found out that this going to heaven and coming back has the limitations. I want this bliss eternally. I want to know something which, by knowing which, I know everything. All this, when the questions became deeper, when the satisfaction, the level of satisfaction became higher, then naturally people started seeking something beyond. That is how the Upanishads were born. These things they say that this is the evolution of the knowledge, evolution of the human being itself. All these things in our methods, in our teaching methods, we do not accept it. We accept that everything came at one shot, together, apaurishaya. And there will be adhikara bheda. Adhikara bheda. If you just say that people who have a tremendous desire inside, you ask him to become a sannyasi, renounce this word, give up this word, there is nothing in the marriage, it cannot happen to him. He will go and marry. So there, within that desire which cannot be given up, there is a provision. So for a grihastha, this is the way you have to live. For a vanaprastha, this is the way you have to live, etc., etc., are all told in the Vedas and the Vedangas. Sutras are there, Ashvalayana Sutra and all. They are all called the Shrutis. Smritis. Shruti is Veda. Smriti is the one which supplements the Veda. So all these things are told to different people at the same time. At the same time, the knowledge is given. The choice is given depending on your temperament. This is what we feel. So the breath of the Hiranyagarbha brought out this Veda. Together, everything, Upanishads as well as Karma Kanda came simultaneously. So people who are good in that, they adopted this. Those who did not want them, they adopted this. That is why they say pravritti marga and nivritti marga. Then, this is the one important thing. Then in this Prakaranaganta of Vedanta Sara, there is one thing called Anubandha Chatushtaya. I will not going to give all the things which are told in the Prakaranaganta. That becomes very heavy, monotonous and boring also. So if you are really a serious student, then it will be very useful. Otherwise, I will tell those which are necessary for continuous enunciation of Mundaka Upanishad. There they mention about the Anubandha Chatushtaya, the 4 quadrants. What are they? In the Vedanta Prakarana, this is something we are entering into the study of Vedanta, that is Adhikari Vishaya Sambandha Prayojana. Adhikari means who? Adhikari means the person who is eligible for this study of the Vedanta under a teacher. He must be eligible. Just like I cannot go and ask for a seat in an engineering college or in a college of medicines. They say you go and write the entrance examination and then come. No, I have completed my PUC plus 2. I am eligible. They say no, you have studied, but we do not know whether you are really eligible to take this tough engineering courses, tough medical courses. So you come through the test. So that becomes the eligibility. So there is an eligibility. So what they said is, what is the eligibility? What is the characteristic of the person who wants to become eligible for that? He must have practiced what are the daily practices that are told in the Vedas. Nitya Naimittika Karma, Sandhya Vandana Ityadi, all those things comes. He must be a dharmika. He should not be a liar, adultery. So many qualities you should have basic good qualities. You should be at least a human being first. So you have a ruffian, notorious person who is timid, who has the duality, who tells lie, all these people doesn't become eligible to enter into the Vedanta. It is very higher and very rarefied field you are entering. So nirgata nikhila kalmashataya. Mind should be very pure. With that purity, with the control over his senses, if he has them, he can ask for this, he can seek for this knowledge. So first, Adhikari is over. What is the Vishya? What is the subject? What subject you people are dealing here? That also we will tell. The subject that is dealt here is the relation between these Upanishads and the Brahman. That is Pramana and Prameya. Prameya means the object which I want to know. Pramana is the knowledge. Suppose that is the watch. So to know what is that watch, how it works, behind that there will be some gears, something will be moving, everything will be there. So to know that clock, I should know, to experience that clock, I should know what it is. So this is about the Pramana and Prameya. So what is the Prameya here? The Brahman itself is the Prameya, object of knowledge. And what is the means of knowledge? The Upanishads is the means of knowledge. So Pramana is here means the Upanishads. Prameya is the Brahman itself. These things, Pramana, Prameya, you should know. Then thus, what is the use? Prayojanam anuddishya mandopina pravartade. That's what we said. What is the result of this? Result is Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. The person who knows about this Brahman through this Upanishads becomes Brahman itself. This is what is the result of knowing this Brahman. So this is called Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampanna, Anubandha Chatushtaya. Second comes the Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampanna. Sadhanani. What is this sadhana? The sadhaka should have the 4 things. The one thing is the Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka, Iha Amutra Artha Phala Bhoga Viraga, Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti Mumukshatva. These are the 4 things a seeker must have. The person who wants to know about the Brahman, he should have these three things, four things. One is Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka. Viveka means wisdom. Wisdom, what is wisdom? A ability to separate what is required for me, what is not required for me. What is the fire and what is the non-fire. What is the cold, what is hot. This separation, how to separate it, you should know. This Vastu Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka, example given is Hamsa Kshira Nyaya. There is a kind of swan which, if you mix the water and the milk and place it before it, what it will do is, it will take only the milk and leave the water. So this world is filled with both worldly things as well as the divine also. Something which is non-worldly also. When you have that viveka, you will leave out those things which are worldly, which are taking you away from the divine, and choose something which is only divine. What is that? The people are going around, people are walking in the roads, they are going to some hotels, or they are going to some movies, films, everything they are doing outside the road. But you people are here, listening to all these things, even though it is boring, you are not able to catch it. All these things are happening, but you are struggling to listen to all these things. So this is viveka. You know that those things, if you go behind them, they will give a lot of problems. Health issue may come, and the mind will go down. So the results, you people know, that is why without going to that side, you are coming here. This is viveka. So by constant practice of this viveka, what happens is, naturally our mind will reject these worldly things which we were going behind them earlier, and hold on to those things which will take us to the divine nature, which is already in us. But this is a journey. We are beginning now. It will attract us again. We have to fight with them and again come back here. So all this fight happens, no? So before the fight happens, the viveka has to come up, and it should become active in our mind. And before we get into anything wrong means which will not allow us to think of the Brahman, we will come back and throw that or move that away from our life. Next thing is, there must be a vairagya, a feeling of renunciation. What is that? Iha amurtra artha phalabhoga viraga. Iha means here. Here there are so many worldly pleasure. We need not to tell what are those. So whatever pleasure is there in the earth, whatever pleasure is there in the heavens, amutra means hereafter. All those things should not attract you. So if they are attracting you again, you are not eligible to seek the knowledge of the Upanishad. So once this viveka, that viveka actually happens in the intellectual level it happens. In the cognitive level. It is just like this fire is burning, and a person, a fool, a stupid, he goes and touches the fire, and he burns his hand. A person who is observing it, he will not go and touch that if he is not a fool. He will not go and touch that and say that, it is burning me also. So we can come to know the person who is already suffering because of his entanglement in the families, by seeing him and by seeing how many people struggling there, we can come to the inference that I need not have to get into this family business. So that is viveka. So it happens in the intellectual level, not in the emotional level. Then Ihamutra Falabhoga Viraga is also a combination of intellectual and emotive level. Because once there is an object of pleasure, the seeking of the pleasure, sukha, dukkha and all, they are all emotions. So, what our scripture says, everything happens in the antahkarana. Antahkarana means the mind stuff. It is called as chitta in the scriptures. Antahkarana, if it cognizes something, this is a glass, I know that. This is the cognition. This is, if it is cognition, it is buddhi, the activity of intelligence. It may be out of memory or something fresh, new knowledge. Everything belongs to buddhi. If it is sukha dukkha, raga dvesha, all this happening, it is related to emotion, it is called manas. It is also a wave in the antahkarana. And the sense of I-ness, it is called ego, that also ahankara. All these things are happening in one thing called antahkarana. It is inside me. That is superimposed upon our Atman. So whatever is happening in this antahkarana, if this Atman attaches itself to the business of this antahkarana, it becomes a jivatma, worldly. If you become sakshi, witness, and see what your antahkarana is doing, you will regain your status of Atman, pure Atman. It is not so easy as it is told now, but it happens. It happens. It is something like a dosage of an injection or a medicine given to our body. It slowly works. It will definitely work. That's why there is a saying in the scripture also, whether you know about the medicine or not, if you take that medicine, it will cure you. So definitely, this concepts, if you know or not, once you take it inside your mind, it starts working at the subconscious level also. So once these two things comes into your antahkarana, first thing is, I want to separate myself from all these things. Whatever may be happening in this world, this hall exists or not. That is not important for us. What is important? You are sitting here, but you may be thinking of your home. You may be thinking that whether I get the bus or not, whether the traffic becomes more when I go back. All these thoughts will be going on. So this hall becomes immaterial. And whatever I am telling you, they also become immaterial. That means to say all these gross objects in the world are immaterial to us. What is happening in my mind is more important than what is happening outside. So the first level is give up this gross. Observe what your mind is doing when it is interacting with the people and the world. That is more nearer to me than what are all these objects are near. So when you come to your antahkarana, you are not this antahkarana. That is what Upanishads is telling. You are only supplying the fuel to that, what is happening to all that. Once you become detached, it is, Sri Ramakrishna gives an example. In a vessel, the onion and potatoes are jumping. If the water is boiling, those onion and potatoes also comes up and goes. And Sri Ramakrishna says, they all are thinking that I am jumping up and down, up and down, up and down. So once you draw out that the wood, the firewood from the oven, then they suddenly drop down and they settle at the bottom. Then they will come to know it is not my energy that was working. It is actually that the energy which was in the fuel, which boiled the water, it made us to go up. So similarly, all these activities are happening because I am feeling them. So once you cut out that, by viveka, everything comes down. This nischaya, it is called nischaya, conviction, strong conviction. Once you make, and if you come to know that these are all hindering to observe yourself, to go back to your pratyagatma, then you will naturally start developing control over your senses. That is called Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti. So what are all the first two things I told? Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka, Ihamutra, Arthapala Bhoga Viraga, Shamadhamadi, Shatka Sampatti, and Mumukshatva. These are the four qualities. Mumukshatva means a desire for the liberation. Moktum Ichcha Mumuksha. That is how it is derived. Moksha is what we are seeking ultimately, but the burning desire to become liberated is called mumukshatva. So they explain what is nitya nitya vastu viveka. What is nitya? Brahma eva nityam vastu. What is mitya? Anyat akhilam anityam iti. Other things are temporary. What is permanent is only Brahman. It is just like a film screen. So on this film screen, so many actors come and go. The ocean will come, the fire will come. When the fire comes, the screen will not become totally vanish. It comes and goes on the screen. Then if the ocean comes and hits the shingle, it will not become wet. So that is unattached. But what are all the things coming and going? The Rajkumar actors, so many actors come and go, objects come and go, everything comes, everything happens on the screen. Once the film is over, that screen only remains. So that is Brahman. Other things come and go. So electricity is there. With that electricity, this fan is running, this lights is running, and my mic is working, everything is happening, but I am not seeing that. And it is not also bragging itself. Oh, I am doing all this. See, you are all sitting coolly here because I am rotating the fan. It never tells. It never tells. But if I repair the fan, I will go and tell, hey, notary nan fan repair madide adike neevella aramagidire. So we take the credit for that, for the person who is actually behind all these things. He is God. So this we should hold on to that. He is the only person. He is that. Whether it is God or Atman, Brahma. Other things are temporary. That is why I will give this up. So, Ihamutra Palavoga Viraga means Anityatva. Once you see that, intellectual conviction. We have not become Brahman. We are building the bricks and stones, small by step to become that. After that, what we will do? Then we will see there is no meaning in these pleasures, whether it is belonging to this world or hereafter. Nowadays, the concept of heaven is fading out. People are not so much behind that Swarga and all. In those days, in the earlier days, the people used to become mad with it. Lot of yagnas they used to do. So now the things which are having a lot of pleasure-giving things are coming in the world itself because of the science and technology. So people are not so much behind all those things. Anyway, whether it is here or hereafter, one must give it up. Once you have crossed these two things, you must be, if you are really serious about it, you should show it in your deeds, in your actions, in your mental thinking also. Otherwise, all these things only theory. It stands at the theoretical level. It doesn't percolates into your mind. That is why in the Indian Eastern philosophy is called darshana. Darshana means it is not just, if you read through the Shankara Bhashya and all, you can see the tremendous intellectual power of that person which is working behind this Bhashya. But he is not speaking just out of his intellectual power, but he is speaking out of, or he is writing out of his experience. Because the Upanishads guarantee that he has seen that after experiencing that he is writing the commentaries. That is the greatness of our philosophers. Our philosophers really practice them. I have seen the, maybe I do not know the name of the person. There are Spencer, many great Western philosophers are there. He is sitting in a 5-star hotel having a cigar in his mouth, and he is writing. He is writing so much, so many papers are here already written, and empty papers are here. Wonderful concepts. But that is not darshana for them. It is an intellectual accomplishment. But our philosophical system is not that. It is darshana. So you should, your life should show, your thinking should show, your attitude should show. So that is why Shama Dhamma Uparati Titiksha Samadhana Shraddha Kyaha. Shama means controlling your mind at the mental thought level itself. I want this thing. I want to enjoy that. It comes in the mind. It raises the wave. It may act physical at the physical level also internally. All these things will happen at the mental level. But because you are a gentleman, you will not express it outside through your limbs, through your hand and mouth and leg. But it is happening in your mind. This is not Shama. Even at the thought level, those things will not come at all. The desirous thought also doesn't come. You will nip in the bud. That is called Shama. So once you practice that Shama, the power of the mind increases. If those thoughts are coming and hitting your mind, it weakens the mind. But to that extent it is good because you are practicing Dhamma. Dhamma means the physical control. We have Karmendriya, no? Pancha Karmendriya. Vak, Pani, Pada, Payu, Chakshu. Jnanendriya is Chakshu Ityadi. Eye, ear, skin, nose, etc. etc. These are Jnanendriya, those are Karmendriya. This Jnanendriya, Karmendriya, you are not acting, but what is acting is the mind. So if you control the mind also, it is Shama. If you control this Dasha, Karmendriya and Jnanendriya, it is Dhamma. Dhamma means Bahyendriyanam tadvyatirikta vishayava nirvartanam. I have the tendency to go and touch that, or to take that, eat that. That I am controlling physically. Even though my mind is struggling, I will not do it physically. So at the physical level, once you start, that is called Dhamma. Mind also slowly gets the strength. At the mental level also, at the thought level also, if you control, because I want the liberation, I want that mumukshatva, then I will not do that. I will not think like this. Because in the mind, that Brahman, in the vessel of mind, the Brahman must come and fill. If I fill these dirty things, how can he come? You have to clean the shrine inside, the mental shrine, mental prayer hall. Then only you can invite the king to come and sit in your heart. So this rule applies here also, whether it is a devotion or it is for the sake of Brahman. Both the places, these are essential. Then very important thing is titiksha. Titiksha means forbearance. Tadkoladu, kashta tadkoladu. When you start your journey into the life of the sadhana. Sadhana means I don't want to do anything further in this world. I don't want to accomplish, or I don't want to go through this path of misery again. Nanige ee samsara beda saku anno ondu sthiti. When you have made up that mind, and when you have started your journey like this, controlling the senses, controlling the mind, developing the faculty of Nitya, Nitya, Vastuvika, all those things when you start, this word, this Maya challenges you. This word is driven by that Shakti, Maya. She starts checking you, just like you have seen in the life of saints. Akka Mahadevi, what happened in her life? Meera, what happened in their life? Kanakadasa, what happened in their life? You all seen those stories. I needed to tell them. So the gods start checking. He gives trouble through various ways. It may be due to health, it may be due to somebody. Unnecessarily people will take you, the police will take you and put you behind the bars. Or many things may happen. Kanakadasa was beaten outside the temple of Krishna. All these things happen. So when the people are hitting you or telling something wrong about you in the society and public, you should not react, you should not curse them, or you should not even think bad for them. That is called titiksha. That is beautifully told by Shankara in Viveka Chudamani. Sahanam sarva dukkhanam apratikara purvakam chinta vilapa sahitam sa titiksha iti nigadyate. Sahanam sarva dukkhanam. Whatever may be the misery, let it come one after the other, one after the other. Apratikara purvakam. You should not react. There is a story called, is told very commonly, that Vishnu and Lakshmi were sitting together, and suddenly Vishnu got up, and after moving for 3-4 steps, it happened in the Vaikunta, and he came back and sat again. So Lakshmi was astonished. She asked, Prabhu, why you went and you came back without doing anything? What happened? No, actually, my bhakta, somebody was chasing him with a stick. So he started running away from him, chanting Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. So I got up. As soon as I went for 3-4 steps, he took a stick and he started beating that person. So then that's why I came back. So when we don't depend on that Supreme Being, when we start acting ourselves for our protection, then God will say, you take care of yourself. So once we start develop the power of titiksha, he will test to some limits. He will not kill you. To some extent he will test you. After that he will protect you. You have seen those things happening in the life of many saints. Finally the God comes and protect you. Till that time, at the time of testing of God, we should not react. Chinta vilaparahitam. We should not brood over that the misfortune that is coming to us, and we should not think of it again. We should think always about God, even in the testing time. That is called titiksha. Once we develop all these things, we will become eligible for the mumukshatva. Moksha ichha is the mumukshatva. That is why that time we will develop an intense longing to go to a person who knows already all these things. We will go to a guru, and once we go to the guru, what is needed now? Whatever guru tells, we should 100% believe that. That is called Shraddha. That's why it is told here, Guru Upadishta Vedanta Vakyeshu. Guru Upadishta Vedanta Vakyeshu. In the sentences of Vedanta, which the Guru tells, in that 100% faith. Whatever Guru is telling from the Vedanta, I will say it is truth, it is correct. Now your mind is perfectly ready to receive that knowledge with the Shraddha and Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampanna. Now he will start telling about the Vishaya. What is the Vishaya? Shuddha Chaitanya, Brahma is your character, it is your nature. That nature, I will take you back to that nature. So you are Jivatma now. So the Shuddha Chaitanya is Paramatma. Jiva Brahmaikya Shuddha Chaitanya is the Vishaya. That is the subject which I am going to deal about all these things. So one by one, like this, a few definitions I will tell so that it will be easier for you. Again, if I tell all those definitions in one go, you may forget it again. So now today we will go into the second section of the Mundaka Upanishads. I will chant that, you will listen to that. Listening itself gives a great nobility. Before entering into each sections or a new chapter, Shankara gives an introduction, a small or big introduction that will be very useful. I will go through that, then I will go into the Mula Upanishads in the second section. Sangha Vedaha Apara Vidya Ukta Rugveda Yajurvedaha Ityadina. So, in the first section, Apara Vidya, that means the two kinds of Vidya, Dve Vidye Veditavya iti Asma, belonging to Rigveda and Yajurveda, they are all explained. Now, this Upanishads starts telling about Brahman. Yattadadreshyam ityadina nama rupam annantya jayate ityantena granthena uktalakshanam yaya vidyaya adigamyate. Yaya vidyaya adigamyate means through the knowledge we will reach that. That means that Brahman. Ataha paraha anayoho vidyayoho vishayo vivektavyo samsara moksha viti uttara grantha arabhyate. Now to explain them, this further section in the first Mundaka, second Kanda starts. Before starting the real knowledge of Brahman, the Apara Vidya Vishaya is further explained. Apara Vidya Vishaya means that which is not related to Brahman. Para Vidya means the knowledge which is related to Brahman. Yatadadreshyam agrahyam agotram avarnam achakshushrotram tadapanipadam. These are the characteristics of Brahman. Adreshyam means you cannot say this one. Agrahyam means you cannot grasp. Agotra means it doesn't have gotra. We have gotra. Tad apanipadam. It doesn't have legs, doesn't have hand, like that. That means it is very subtle thing. That comes in the next part. Before that part, now he has told there are two types of knowledge, Paravidya and Aparavidya. This Paravidya is Hatavyaha. That's what Bhashya says. Aparavidya Hatavyaha, not Paravidya. Aparavidya Hatavyaha. That which I had to renounce, which I had to give up. I should know what are those things which I have to give up. That I will tell you first. What you have to give up, first I will tell that. You give it up, I will tell what you have to gain. This is how all our scriptural methods goes. So, Aparavidya Kartradi Sadhana Kriya Phala Veda Rupaha. All this Karma Kanda about Yajna, I will tell you in the next class. Very wonderful concepts are built in the Vedas. I will tell you in the next class because only 6 minutes are remaining. I will chant this Upanishads. First, we have to know that by continuously performing the karma, we gain some strength. We gain the strength for renunciation also through karma only. So, methodically, these yajnas are built. The system of yajna in the karma kanda. But this karma kanda gives pleasure only in some heavens, etc., etc., which I do not want. I know Here, if I get 1 unit of pleasure, I may get there the 1000 units of pleasure. What is the use of this? I do not want all this. I want something shashvata, nitya, permanent. So that is why I have renounced everything. So dukkha swarupa is there. Even though the scriptures itself gives a guarantee of the pleasure, it won't guarantee that after the completion of the pleasure period, which is equal to what good you have done, you will not get misery. That guarantee even gods will not give. You have seen in the examples of Ravana, Kumbhakarna, whoever. They have done some tapas. After that, if they have done something wrong, they are killed by the same gods. Or Vishnu usually who does that. Shiva usually gives the blessings. So whatever it be, dukkha is always there at the end of the pleasure. That is why nadisrotavat avicheda rupa sambandha. It is just like the flowing river. Sometimes misery, sometimes pleasure, sometimes misery, sometimes. So it continuously flows in our life. That is why, to eradicate that, in the next coming chapters, we will tell about the Paravidya. Now we will tell about something which is related to that karma kanda, how it is done, what it will give, and why you should renounce. All these are covered in this particular chapter itself. Today I will close by chanting the Upanishadic mantras. You can close your eyes and listen to that. First sloka. Tadetat satyam mantreshu karmani kavayo yanyapashyam sthanitretayam bahudha santatani tanyacharata niyatam satyakama yeshavah pantha sukritasya loke yada lelayate hyarchis samidhe havyavahane tadajya bhagavantarenahutih pratipadayet yasyagnihodram adarsham apaurnamasam achaturmasyam anagrayanam athiti varjitancha ahutam vaishvadevam avidhinahutam asaptamasams tasya lokan hinasti kali karali cha manoja vacha sulohita yacha sudhumravarna spulingini vishwaruchi cha devi lelayamana iti saptajihvaha eteshu yascharate bhrajamaneshu yatha kalam chahutayo hyadadayan tannayantyetas surmayasya rashmayo yatra devanam patirekodhivasah yehyehiti tamahutayas suvarchasah सूर्यस्य रश्मिभिः यजमानं वहन्ति प्रियां वाचं अभिवदन्त्योर्चयन्त्य येषवः पुण्यः सुकृतो ब्रह्मलोकः प्लवाह्येते अदृढा यज्ञरूपा अष्टादशोक्तमवरम् एषु कर्म एतच्छ्रेयो येऽभिनन्दन्ति मूढाः जरा मृत्युन्ते पुनरेवापि यन्ति अविद्यायामन्तरे वर्तमानाः शयन्धीराः पण्डितं मन्यमानाः जङ्घन्यमानाः पर्यन्ति मूढाः अन्धेनैव नीयमाना यथान्धाः अविद्यायां बहुधा वर्तमानाः वयं कृतार्था इत्यभिमन्यन्ति बालाः यत्कर्मिणो न प्रवेदयन्ति रागात् तेनातुराक्षीणलोकाश्चवन्ते इष्टापूर्तं मन्यमाना वरिष्ठं नान्यच्छ्रेयो वेदयन्ते प्रमूढाः नाकस्य पृष्ठे ते सुकृतेनुभूत्वा इमल्लोकं हीनतरं वा विशन्ति तपश्रद्धे ह्युपवसन्ति अरण्ये शान्ता विद्वांसो भैक्षचर्यां चरन्तः सूर्यद्वारेण ते विरजा प्रयान्ति Yatramrtassa purusho hyavyayatma parikshalokan karmachitan brahmano nirvedamayan nasti akrutah krutena taddignanartam sa gurumeva bhikachet samutpanihi shrotriyam brahmanishtham tasmai sa vidvan upasannaya samyak prashanta chittaya shamanvitaya yenaksharam purusham veda satyam provachatan tattvato brahma vidyam. Om iti prathama khande dvitiya mundakaha. In these slokas, they first told about those karma, those yajnas, and they also told what will happen, where you have to offer your havis to the particular the tongues of the fire. Kali, Karali, Chamanoja, Vacha means different tongues, like tongues the fire will come up, no? Where we have to put the offerings. Those things are told. After doing all this, that particular Yajamana, the performer of the yajna, after leaving his body, when he leaves his body, those gods will come. Those gods means attendants of those gods will come. We will take you to those places of pleasures. Though they will take you there, and you can experience all pleasures. All those things are told. And after that, the Upanishad here itself, it will condemn them. Plavahyete heduda yajna rupaha. This is like a record boat. These karmas will take you to some places which are not fit to go at all. Then it condemns that, and then it tapashraddhe bhaikyacharjam upyavanti aranye. Those people who go to the forest, who do the tapas and do begging and all, they are blessed people. Then it will tell about the Viraja Loka. Viraja Loka means another Loka Prapti only, but it is a higher Loka which doesn't have this kind of pleasure and other matters. It is only the pure bliss that is there in the Brahma Loka. But actual knowledge of the Upanishad takes you to the real knowledge itself. The Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati is something which is now itself you will experience the complete Brahman. But here in this chapter, it is related to traveling from this word to another word, and another word is there which is Brahmaloka. The people who go to the Brahmaloka will not come back. At the time of Pralaya, they get liberated from there itself. So that is told in the last sloka of that second chapter. We will see all those things later because it's already 3 minutes extra. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.